Myself, Dr. Pallavi Saxena. I am Advisory Board Member of Air Pollution Scientific Initiative, APSI team, and on recommendation of our founder and director, Dr. Paolo Giannetti, me and my colleague, Dr. Saurabh Sonwani, Associate Member, APSI, going to start an interview with Dr. Anuradha Shukla, who has recently been superannuated on 31st August 2020 from the position of Chief Scientist at Central Road Research Institute, CRRI, New Delhi. And she was also Honorary Professor, ACSIR. So she's a recipient of prestigious Fulbright Fellowship for Environmental Leadership Program in 2009 to 2010. She is also a member of technical committees of various national and international in various road projects, and she has published more than 100 papers in national and international journals. So I'm happy to invite Dr. Anuradha Shukla. And so my first question to you is, please summarize about your education, career path, and collaborations you had to help you grow in your profession.
Thank you, Dr. Pallavi and Dr. Saurabh. So to summarize, after graduating in science from Delhi University in 1981, I joined Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, and did my master's in chemistry. After successful completion of the graduate aptitude test for engineers, that is GATE examination, with 98 percentile, I was the first batch of GATE. I completed MTech from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, from Metallurgical Engineering Department, which is now known as Material Science and Engineering Department, in 1985. Actually, I love reading and to learn something new. I have a quest to pursue new knowledge. I completed MTech dissertation on high temperature oxidation of nickel chromium superalloys and used the powder metallurgical techniques to prepare the pellets of superalloy. That time it was a new field. I applied sophisticated analytical techniques like ESCA, scanning electron microscopy, EDAX, XRF for characterization of superalloy developed, and I developed physico-chemical model for high temperature oxidation of carbon fibers embedded in the nickel chromium superalloys, which was published and I presented at an international conference on corrosion engineering. International experts. Actually, after a presentation, my mentor and guide, who was very happy, he gave me Professor D.L. Roy. He told me that, like in science, you should always use the word maybe, not it is, because science always keep on developing. Every day there are new developments in science, and you should always keep abreast in latest developments in science and technology. That golden words are still with me, though Professor D.L. Roy is not here in this, but his words are still with me. My quest for exploring the new areas led to selection as a research scholar at Industrial Tribology, Machine Dynamics and Maintenance Engineering Center at IIT Delhi. And I worked on a very interesting topic, that is oxidation and wear during initial running in of an engine and lubricant emissions. I worked there for 1.5 years, and with the goal to pursue a career in research, I applied and was selected as a scientist B in defense Research and Development Organization as a research officer in Indian Oil Corporation, R&D, and as Scientist B in Central Road Research Institute of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. So I joined CRRI as a Scientist B in August 1986, and for 34 long years till my superannuation on August 2020, I worked as a scientist. I really enjoy working as a scientist. I'm still a scientist at heart, though I've superannuated. I like the challenges it brings, and also that I constantly learn new things from students and colleagues. Due to my family responsibilities, I had to leave PhD at IIT Delhi and later completed my PhD in the area of real-world on-road emissions of vehicles running on different fuel types during my tenure as a scientist. Since I had an interdisciplinary background, integration of interdisciplinary knowledge helped me in development of approaches that integrated concepts from diverse fields of study into more holistic approach and leading towards new capabilities, understanding, knowledge in the field of road transport and environment. So, as a team leader of environment subgroup way back in 1986, I was responsible for setting science direction for newly formed Environment and Road Traffic Safety Division. So like I did the setting up of air and noise laboratory, setting up of mobile air pollution monitoring van with automatic analyzers, which were important from France. And this was first of its kind mobile air pollution monitoring van in India. Later on, CPCB and other institutions, they also bought. This was way back in 1987. At that time, air pollution and environment was in research in this area was in nascent stages in India. So after joining CRRI, my first successfully executed and first comprehensive study was in collaboration with All India Institute of Medical Sciences on effect of environmental pollution due to road traffic on the health of Delhi traffic police personnel. It was widely publicized in national dailies and was widely cited. The first ever comprehensive study to consider human health and pollution interplay in India, and this study helped in developing the linkages between health and air noise pollution due to road traffic. Also, having a strong material science background led to the successful completion of development of thermoplastic material as a substitute to road marking paints, which at that time were water-based and they were not stable. So this project was sponsored by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. So I then I successfully led and executed many surveys of air quality in Delhi and other cities using mobile air pollution monitoring van. In 2002, I was made group leader of Transport Environment Group, and with the motto of teamwork, that is trust, effort, achievement, and motivation, I learned scientific planning, strategy development, administration, and sustained efforts resulted in realization of increase in number of R&D projects, 3 times collaborative projects and publications of the group as compared to previous years, and for which I received appreciation letter from Director, Central Road Research Institute. I initiated refurbishment of laboratories and setting up of state-of-art facilities, establishing strong scientific network with national and international partners and users, and increase the visibility of the group and institute via communication of scientific results to scientific community, knowledge users, and general public. I also organized various national and international workshop, conference, training programs to increase the exchange of knowledge. Later, as a HOD of the division, I developed new strategic directions for the division, identified innovative research topics, such as vibration and harshness, life cycle assessment, and carbon footprint for transportation and road construction projects, etc. And in 2009, I was awarded prestigious Fulbright Nehru Environmental Leadership Program Fellowship at Texas, for which I worked at Texas Transport Institute at Texas A&M University, College Station, and this provided me opportunities for personal, academic, and professional growth, and further to network with American counterparts organization and to explore the future linkages between Indian and American organization with common agendas. So here, like under the OLP program, I visited many 2-3 universities in US to give lectures. Then, based on our performance, our division was conferred Best R&D Division Performance Award successfully for 3 years, from 2008-9 to 2010-11, under Outstanding Performance Award. I feel, regarding the collaboration, importance of collaboration, I feel collaboration is very important in research. By combining expertise and resources, you can answer bigger and more complex scientific questions and expand the breadth of your research. Collaborations are opportunities to learn new skills, make new friends, gain a new perspective, and join stimulating discussions with experts in your field and other complementary fields. I established active scientific collaboration with numerous renowned international and national institutes and organizations. One such was collaborative work with Professor Roy Harrison and Dr. Pallavi Pant, School of Geography, Earth and Environmental Sciences, University of Birmingham, UK, on source apportionment for PM 2.5 using CMB model at roadside in New Delhi using a suite of elemental and molecular markers. The study was unique since it included a detailed assessment of chemical components of PM, including metals, ions, carbon, molecular markers. In addition, PM10 road dust was chemically characterized and source profile was prepared to estimate the contribution of brake and tire wear emissions to road dust. We published jointly many papers also. Then I collaborated with Dr. Joe Zitzman, Director, Center for Air Quality Studies, Texas Transportation Institute, for technical discussions for future collaborative projects and for Indo-US Science Technology Forum workshop, for which he was co-principal investigator, and under which I organized Indo-US workshop on GHG emissions and transportations, sponsored by IUSSTF, and it was very fruitful collaboration. A delegation of 6 US experts visited CRRI. Then Dr. Tinwin and Dr. J. Vogel from Bach, Germany, visited Atmospheric Chemistry Laboratory in CRRI under Indo-German Cooperation Program for collaboration in the area of certified reference materials. And our young scientists visited Bach, Germany, and collaborative work and joint publication on CRM of road dust was communicated. Similarly, many such collaborations were done with national laboratories, our sister laboratories like IIP Dehradun, Indian Institute of Petroleum, then National Environment Engineering Research Institute, Nagpur, DMRC, Indian International Institute of Health Management and Research. So we did many collaborative projects with these organizations.
Thank you, Dr. Shukla. That's very fascinating to hear about your career path, and very encouraging, especially for the young scientists to move ahead in the field of science. So
here I would like to mention one thing that we the early career researcher have been using your research article publication as a reference material for designing and develop our research, and we also use these material for the classroom teaching also. So since you are having a very vast experience, ma'am, so please tell us about to know more about your contribution to the society and in the society and in the science. So this is another question.
Okay, so I would say my research was mainly based on, it was mainly focused and based on exploring the solutions to the problem of air pollution or noise pollution, environmental pollution due to road traffic. One of the early research which I did was pollution inside newly constructed underground parking. This was way back in 1991. That was Palika underground parking. And at that time, there used to be like on the ramp, huge queue of cars, and tears used to come, such a huge amount of pollution inside, and like eyes used to water. So I decided to study that. And we found that like carbon monoxide concentrations inside were 300 to 400 ppm, and pollution was very high. So we suggested changing the traffic pattern, that is ingress and exit, traffic circulation plan outside the park, underground parking, installation of ventilators, etc., which solved the problem. So I mean, like I feel happy about, though it was a small contribution. Then, as I said earlier, effect of air and noise pollution on traffic police personnel on Delhi. That was like based on this study, we suggested that all traffic police personnel who are posted on the intersections, they should have a rotation of the duty. They should go to lesser polluted or to the office duty by rotation. They should wear masks, and some kind of hazard allowances should be given. There should be free health checkup and all we had suggested. Then like estimation and quantifying the traffic and associated pollution loads from vehicles. And this project assisted in deriving national auto fuel policy for various cities in Delhi, that is Bharat Stage 4, Bharat Stage 4. Then research and development in the area of transport environment, such as in the area of fine particulates, volatile organic compounds, monitoring and assessment, dissemination of knowledge, creating awareness of issues related to environmental pollution due to road environment and public health are some of the contributions. I tried to explore research into the links between transport, exposures, and health, developing strategies and methodologies for sustainable transport, health, and environment, that is trying to reduce the transport footprints. Another important study which I'd like to say that traditional studies of vehicle emissions have been laboratory based and focused on quantifying the regulated gas emissions. So like hydrocarbons, oxide of nitrogen, etc. So I initiated, based on auto fuel policy research, I initiated research project that has departed from these traditions by focusing on what is happening actually on the road, what are the emissions, on understanding emission from in-use vehicle when they are actually moving on the road in real world conditions. And for this, portable onboard emission measurement system for the first time was bought in India, which was used for quantifying emission from vehicles with second by second data collection under real world conditions. And then the thing which I cherish is teaching and mentoring students, fellows, and young faculty. This can be one of the real joys of a career in science. Interacting with young minds make me think and motivate, and I think it makes me feel younger by explaining one's work to intelligent, receptive, and inquisitive students and colleagues. You can actually broaden and deepen your understanding of work. I strongly believe in encouraging and supporting, mentoring young scientists in their growth, especially women scientists. So I have mentored many young women scientists in our division and institute so as to establish young scientific leaders, which was evident from the many laurels these my junior scientists working with me, they got. So I feel happy about it.
Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah. As India is one of the developing country which is facing air pollution problems since last decades. So, so Dr. Anuradha, where and what is your vision to see India in the field of atmospheric sciences?
Okay, research and development in the field of atmospheric sciences can help in actually alleviating the poverty and helping our fellow citizens by better understanding and forecasting of natural weather hazards such as storms, floods, and droughts, which can save lives and livelihood of fellow citizens in our country, as they are annual affair. And there are so many economic losses, loss of lives. Ability to predict the weather and climate on a range of time scales has large economic benefits to agriculture, water resources, and industry. Sustainable energy production often depends on better understanding of processes in the atmosphere. So control strategies for problems such as polluting ozone in the troposphere, particulate air pollution, vehicle emissions, they must be based upon the sound science, including the chemistry and physics of the atmosphere and its interaction with land and ocean. Many atmospheric processes remain poorly, still they are poorly understood. Yet, since their effects are often global, we need more research on fundamental science before we can develop effective solutions and based on them, the regulations. So climate change, the effect of air pollution on our health and our climate, particles from vehicle exhaust, these are some of the issues which concern all of us, and they can only be tackled by action and policies that rely on atmospheric science. A better environmental consideration in road project planning and management reduces the adverse impact on society. So these studies on pollution research, assessment of air pollution behavior to provide information interface between research community and individuals working in policy analysis and air quality can greatly help in air quality management and improving the quality of life.
Thank you, Dr. Shukla, for such a nice description about the India and how it is there in the field of atmospheric sciences, in the weather phenomena, and also in the pollution field.
As you have mentioned in your brief description about your career path and the related projects, so you have been mentioned that there was some project like ISRO GVP and some other project. Can you please elaborate the experience about these projects where you work as you have been played a crucial role as a leader? So
sure. Actually, ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization's Geosphere Biosphere Program, phase 1, that is land campaign Delhi to Hyderabad, and phase 2, that was in Delhi. CRRI was involved in this, and this mega collaborative study sponsored by ISRO involving 70 scientists and 19 laboratories in India. This was a unique learning experience for me. I led participation of CRRI in the study of atmospheric aerosols and trace gases under this ISRO GBP road campaign, part 1 and 2. This was the first study to establish the profile background concentrations across the Indo-Gangetic plains of northern India. Objectives were to understanding of the linkages between the environmental and climatic changes as a function of anthropogenic emissions. upgradation of knowledge base, and insight for formulation of suitable mitigative and control measures based on the multi-platform observations. Another interesting project was urban road traffic and air pollution in major metropolitan cities of India. This comprehensive study was first of its kind in India to estimate and quantify traffic and associated pollution loads from the vehicles and assisted in deriving national auto fuel policy for various cities in India. From the above studies, I identified two gaps in the knowledge. That was vehicle emissions. This was way back in 2001, 2002. And that time, vehicle emissions in dynamic real-world road conditions and emission factors for real-world conditions were missing. And based on that, I worked on real-world on-road emissions of in-use vehicles. Another was real-time analysis and characterization of PM 2.5 and PM1 to understand the contribution of traffic to air quality. And so later on, I set up a lab, real-time aerosol monitoring laboratory and portable emission monitoring laboratory to study on these two portions. So then, like, since this development, working on generation of new information for model development, evaluation of real-world on-road emissions, I demonstrated on-board emissions from biodiesel fueled vehicle in collaboration with IIP Dehradun to our former president, late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam at IIP Dehradun on 14th August 2005. And then presented a paper on real-world on-road emissions of in-use vehicle running on diesel, gasoline, and CNG at San Diego in a workshop on the CRC on-road vehicle emission workshop in 2008. Then I worked on health impact assessment of Delhi Metro in collaboration with International Institute of Health Management and Research. I led the project on impact of overloading of trucks on real-world on-road emissions. So these are some of the important projects on which I really cherish, and I feel that they are important. They have contributed towards the policy developments.
Thanks, ma'am, for providing detailed insight about your major projects. It was quite informative. So, next question, Pallavi.
Dr. Shukla, as you are having expertise in the particulate emissions from the road traffic, and you have also handled numerous projects in roads and highways. So the next connected question with it is, as you are having expertise in particulate emissions from road transport, so according to you, what best cost-effective ways do you suggest to reduce the air pollution load in a mega city, Delhi, India?
So to reduce air pollution loads, particularly in Delhi, there can be strategies like reducing the traffic demand, that is pedestrian-oriented development, bicycle-oriented development, transit-oriented development, transport demand management, that is regulation side, parking regulation, compact and mixed land use planning, economics, we can say fuel tax, road pricing, car charge. So these are some of the measures which can reduce the traffic demand. Another is shifting, that is reduce the emission per unit, reducing the emissions per unit transported. That is like developing integrated public transport system, bus and tram priority lanes, prioritizing non-motorized transport, then fuel taxes, road pricing, car charge. Then Third method is improving to reduce the emissions per kilometer. So that can be done by low emission vehicles, electrical vehicles, alternative energy, emission standards, improving, like India is leapfrogging to from this Bharat stage 4 to Bharat stage 6. Then introducing intelligent transport system, labeling of vehicle performance, fuel tax, etc. So apart from these solutions, one low-cost solution which I feel really excited about is having a roadside vegetation barriers to mitigate particulate air pollution and air pollution. This is one of the low-cost solutions which I really want that we should explore more. In fact, there is no single strategy for addressing the air pollution problems. It is a mix of policy measures best suited for each city's challenges that will be needed to improve air quality in a particular city. And there is a need for holistic approach. Piecemeal approach is not going to help. Thank you.
Thank you for such a nice answer and to explain the possible solutions for reducing the pollution load in Delhi, India, because in Delhi, this is one of the major problems that the Delhi has been facing since decades.
Since ma'am, you are having a vast experience in the field of air quality, atmospheric science, and even air pollution and health related issues. So as a scientist, what is your vision in science?
My vision as a scientist is to use science to create a better everyday life for people, to create, share, apply new knowledge with both our scientific and academic sphere, with society, to create an environment that nurtures growth and inspires solution to societal and environmental challenges. I envision a scientifically literate society for our country that embraces evidence-based decision making and solutions, and making all the policy decisions based on the scientific evidences. This is my vision.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Shukla, our last question is, what is your message to young scientists who are working in the field of atmospheric sciences?
Okay, my message to young scientists is to have an inquisitive mind, to question why it's happening, how it's happening. In fact, to break a big research question into smaller series of research questions that ultimately constitute a systematic and meticulous research program. To have a strong knowledge base and a flexible and dynamic approach with incisive decision making and problem-solving skills, and an intellect that thrives on continuous learning and development. It is very important to be passionate. It is really very important to be passionate about the problem, what you're doing, and that will help in developing a vibrant ecosystem for R&D. Most importantly, I'll say that all the while, it is very important to maintain integrity in all that we do. Scientific career requires discipline. It is important to remain abreast of ever-changing methodologies and latest literatures and scientific developments, as my guide had said way back in 1986, 85, 86. Atmospheric sciences is a vast and diverse field with so many areas need to be explored and problems to be solved. For example, in these COVID times, to find the relationship between air pollution, that is ambient and indoor air pollution, aerosols, and viral transmission, there is still lots of confusion and it needs a study. This is a small example. And finally, I feel interdisciplinary collaboration, especially for young scientists, is also very important, especially in the field of atmospheric sciences. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shukla. Thank you for giving us your precious time. And we are very grateful to you that you have accepted our offer to for giving the interview. So, so audience who are listening our video, who are watching our video, if they like to comment, then they can comment in the comment box, and you can like also and subscribe our video also. Thank you very much.